Hello future developers, so welcome to the continuation of our previous lesson. Okay, so in our previous lesson, this is what this is how far we've come. Okay, now we would want to work on this. Okay, so and then some other, like, yeah, work on all of these, but let's start with this first, which is the cat meow. So that said, I'm going to open my VS Code. Okay, so with VS Code opened, we want to work on this, okay, which we have give it a class of cat space. Okay, so I'm going to do dots. Let's do cat space. Then let's do text align. Text align. We use center. We want to center our text. Then we give it a margin top of 90 px. Okay. Okay. So now we want to target the child. Okay. So we have cat space. So now I want to target this. Okay, which is an H1. So I think it's the only H1 that we have. So I can just go ahead and then type H1. So let's do H1. So H1, I'm going to give it a color of white smoke. Okay, so the color is changed. And then let's give it a padding bottom of 50 px. Okay, so enough space, enough padding below it. And then we give it a font size of 50 px. Okay, and a font family. So I give it a font family of Verdana, which is this. Okay, so Verdana. Okay. Okay, so now let's work on the other H tag. So H5. So H5 is going to be, let's see, which is our H5. So the track U, we simply meow it. So which is this one. Okay, so in our main.css, our H5, I'm going to give it a font size of small. Okay. And then a color of, let's use 116, comma 116, comma, and then 116. Sorry, I would have to add RGB. Then put them in a brackets. Okay. Okay, so that's what we have. Now let's work on the font family. So the font family would use still the Verdana. Okay. And then font weight. So font weight is more of like the thickness. So let's give it 100. So we thin it out. And then margin top of 30 px. So we want to give some margin at the top, 30 px. Okay. Now let's go to our H4. So our H4, we first want to work on this. Okay, the no favorites. Okay, or better still, let's work on the class first. So let's work on the class, then we'll later work on the H4. So this to H4. So let's go to dots and take this out. I'll do dot text. Okay, so the first dot text is targeting our class. So let's display flex. And then flex direction should be column. Then I'm going to align items, use center. Okay. Then let's use text align. We'll center it. Then let's give it a margin top. A margin top. Margin top of 40 px. So 40 px. Okay. So just the margin top 40 px. So now let's target our sub. So our sub is, or let's work with this text. Okay, the ID. So the ID, we'll use a pound sign. So the pound sign, and then, so we use a pound sign and then text. Okay, remember it's an ID. Okay, which is this. So no favorites added. So which is going to be this one. So curly braces, and then I'm going to type, give it a color of let's use RGB into bracket 150, comma 151, comma 151. Let's see what happens. Okay, terminate it. So I'll terminate it to a semicolon, and then font family. So the font family is just going to be the same as the H5. So I'll just copy that of the H5 font family and then paste it here. And better still, what we could have done was just to declare them. Okay, so I'll declare them in the header. Sorry, I'll declare them in our universal selector. Okay, so I'm just going to paste it here so that I can just clear them out. Okay, so you see it's still the same. So now let's work on our, so I'm going to copy this font size. So I'm going to give it a font size of small. So I'll just copy this, Control C. Then I'll just copy the font width here. So the font width, I'm going to give it 1. Okay, just 1. Okay, 100 is fine. Let's rather use 100. And then let's work on our sub. So our sub is the add favorite. So our sub, is an ID. So I'll just use sub. Then I'm going to give it a color. Okay, I'll use Dodger blue. Okay, so you can see we have the Dodger blue color. Then I'll give it a line height. Okay, of 1.9. So just some small spacing for the line height. Okay, so let's maximize and then see what we have. Okay, so this is what we have now, and then the next lesson will work on the inputs, then try to style it more. Thank you, and then I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.